Hey there, everyone. It's Bishop Drake, but you can call me Erik, coming to you with a very special first episode of Quick Updates in Madness and Mayhem. That's right, I decided to get out of Tamriel, and even though I haven't thrown out any videos of the wasteland, I've got quite a few interesting shelter builds that I'm looking forward to trying to get online. Anyway, out of the wasteland, out of Tamriel, into the really real world, and decided to look at all the oddities and fun things that are out there in that wide, wide world of ours. So, let's get this rolling. I'd like to start off with, of course, the eclipse, because the eclipse is the big thing. Passes through a bunch of cities that are all named in the Bible. And you do know that there are 4 states at this point, minimum, 4 states that have issued emergency protocols to be put in place. Told residents to get water, gas, food, all prepped. Make sure they're ready and you know, to shelter if need be. And I went up to the last eclipse, and I don't remember that being an issue. I don't remember it being horribly inundated, and I went to the dead center because I was there when, you know, it turned night, which was fun. It was cool. If you get a chance, I would suggest it. As I understand it, this eclipse will have a bigger shadow passing by, which is part of why more people want to see it. Therefore, towns will be inundated and supplies will be taken. The reason this is wild to me is because FEMA months ago looked at projections and things that could go wrong, and they talked about infrastructure failure and soft spot failures in supply chains. And now, of course, we just had a ship hit the bridge, and it has collapsed. Of course, Baltimore Bridge has collapsed, and it has blocked a port, and a port will not be able to get supplies until the debris is cleared and the site is cleared, and then supplies will be able to get into the port. I don't want this channel to be entirely about conspiracy theories. What other craziness could be occurring? War is crazy. War is beyond crazy. And of course, we've got Ukraine happening. And the craziness to me in Ukraine is the massive amount of money that we have spent. We've given them over $70 billion. And you can tell me, oh, but the people need it. 2%. Only 2% of that has gone to civilians and people. 30-something% has gone to business and industry, and that's the financial. 30% has gone to financial assistance to the financial sector. And then, of course, you know where the other 60% ended up. In the military. So what is our government even doing? And of course, all this is an election year, and we get stumbling, mumbling Joe Biden, of course, against the sexual assaulting, draft dodging game show host Trump. And once upon a time, I believed in trying to tell us all about the false divide and how we need a third party in there, and that would break up the monopoly, and how they've got us thinking it's us versus them, and red, blue, Republican, Democrat, us versus them, when it's really us versus them, the people in power. The only job that a person in power has is keeping it. And then you look at, and it's always a sad one, but that's Palestine, and the horrors and tragedies and stories that are coming out of there, and what could be even worse. I wish there was some way to explain it, but you look at to date, they have over 30,000, rough estimate, dead Palestinians. 30,000 dead Palestinians. The IDF long ago admitted that 2 out of every 3 dead Palestinians were civilians. That's innocent women and children, basically. Old people. So 20,000 dead old women or children. And you're fooling yourself if you think that that's the story of a hero. I mean, even Thanos only wanted to kill half. And that was just everyone. You're talking about a story, a narrative where we're going to go after a vicious assault. And don't get me wrong, it was horrible what happened on October 7th. It is just wrong. And I understand the necessity for a form of response. But salting and burning in the way that it's occurred is not right. And if you're Christian, and I don't consider myself a godly man, in fact, I'm far from it sometimes, but dear Lord, if you think that that's the right thing, you're wrong. Think of John 8:7, where they're walking down the street, Jesus and the crew, and all of a sudden they turn the corner and there's a woman of questionable virtues getting put against a wall, because as it was lawful at the time, she was going to get stoned to death. And Jesus, which is God on earth, basically, we can get into it. Topic for another day. But God on earth said, "He without sin throw the first stone." And even he, Jesus, didn't pick up a stone and throw it, because only God in heaven gets to say, "You are damned to hell." And of course, we all know Jesus didn't pick it up because he had his own temptations. That's why he was also fully human. Do you think he was an ass or a boobs man? Don't call me a heretic. That's not right. He was fully human, tempted by things that humans are tempted by. So, ass or boobs? What do you think? My answer? Me? Oh, that's easy. He had a foot fetish. Oh. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. I know. I shouldn't have. It's just something about that particular war or conflict makes me crazy. So, little unhinged. Oh well. It happens. Let's keep it light, right? Let's go light. What can we do that's light and fun, crazy madness. Let's go around the world for this one, shall we? Yeah. Well, let's go around the world. Let's start in the Netherlands with trash pandas, my favorite. I love a good raccoon. Posable thumbs, baby. Posable thumbs. So, Aquazoo in the Netherlands got 12 new trash pandas on Monday. That's right. Threw them in the enclosure and said, enjoy. Get used to it. We'll open your exhibit tomorrow, perhaps. Tuesday morning comes. Only one is remaining. The rest, through a failure in the enclosure, escaped. And now they did catch 2 more a little later, but 9 little raccoons, little bandit eyes and everything, are still being looked for. I didn't check as of today to see if they'd caught any more, but, well, that was only yesterday. So, we'll see. Keeping it along with animals, an alligator was removed from a house in the U.S. That's right. In the house in the U.S., an 11-foot alligator was removed. No, stop. We're not to Florida yet. This is New York. That's right, just south of Buffalo, in a home, a 30-year-old, it was acquired in the 90s, 30-year-old 11-foot alligator was removed from a house. Now I have, I have mixed feelings about this because the owner, his license expired in 2021. And the alligator is blind in both eyes and has a messed up spine. But I mean, like, the kids would get in the pool and swim with the damn thing. It is an 11-foot alligator, people. Moving to Florida, up in Jacksonville, a dog, oh, by the way, the alligator was named Albert. The dog in Jacksonville is named Baby, was digging around in its owner's backyard and happened to uncover roughly a 10-pound bomb. Undetonated, bomb squad was called. They removed it safely. Houses were evacuated. More information to come. But bombs in the U.S. Let's go across the seas, and keeping with animals and moving on to raids. Raids. We got more. We all know. No. We all know about P. Diddy at this point. That's old news. Elvish Yadav was an influencer. He's over in India. Hey, man, he's got 15 million followers or something like that. So, hey, he was raided and arrested because he was supplying snake venom as a drug at parties. I mean, hey, who cares about a little smack or crystal meth when you can go out and get snake venom? Not that any of the real serious drugs made any form of sense to me. I'd be dead in the ditch if I touched any of them. But snake venom? Holy shit. Ay. So, and yes, of course, we all know P. Diddy got raided. Hey, Cat tried to warn us. People have been trying to warn us, but we decided to keep this light. Light it shall be. So, finishing off our U.S. tour of silliness, in the state of Washington, you no longer need to pass the bar. You will have to do something to prove you know some amount of law. They're figuring that part out, but they decided that the bar, well, they decided that it needed to be bypassed. That there were just too many disadvantaged people that weren't ever going to be able to deal with it. So, crazy. If you ever wanted to attempt to be a lawyer, now is the time. Move to Washington State. It'll be a little easier to get your lawyer's license. So, that about finishes it up for the craziness in the world. I have one very last long shot conspiracy theory out there for you. But it is keeping it fun. Remember I said I liked high fantasy, low fantasy, Dungeons and Dragons, things like that. Well, that's right. I think the Winds of Winter may be coming out, people. George met with his editor, publisher, about 4 months ago. And 4 months from that date, on his Not a Blog, he tweeted a picture of Robert Frost that said, "Words of wisdom." And then it had an inspirational quote, something about how dreams can only be possessed by one person at a time. That's why dreamers are lonely. With the hashtag dreams contemplating. Oh, look, the last time he tweeted something cryptic that was in just a picture with some words, it was a picture of Kong, and it said, "The monkey is off my back." And that's, I forget the hashtags. Who cares? That was when basically what it came out to be was that was when he no longer had to deal with writing Feast for Crows. He was done. He could move on to Winds of Winter. So, let's take a look at that. Robert Frost, whose song about ice and fire is part of Martin's muse, inspiration. Okay? Words of Wisdom has the exact same number of digits as Winds of Winter, and the next book is supposed to be a dream of spring, contemplating dream. So, that's my wild shot. We'll see if it comes true. Anyway, this has been Erik. It's been a pleasure taking you on this very first ride of quick updates in Madness and Mayhem. And if I can figure it out a little better, we'll keep upgrading it. I don't know, I like the underlight. It's kind of cool. But it's not consistent the way I'm doing it. But I'm old school. I like candles. Come on. Anyway, tell me what you think. I hope you all are taking care of yourselves. It's a wild, wild world out there. And I will see you on the next round, next time, when we have some quick updates in Madness and Mayhem. That's all the quim I got for you today, folks.